Getting back to one of our top local stories tonight, Malaka Silva, the son of Minister Mervyn Silva, has been assaulted by a certain group in Colombo. Minister Mervyn Silva spoke to the media regarding the incident.
සිද්ධියුණලා මම ගෙදර මේ කොට කලිසම ගාගෙන පුතා කතා කරලා කිව්වා තාත්තේ නාඳුන කට්ටියක් ඇවිල්ලා මාව ගෙනියන්න නැද්දා ඊට පස්සේ මම පුරවදුවා මට මේගොල්ලෝ වට කරලා ගැව්වා 12ක් විතර කියලා මම වාර කරදර නැහැ කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ මම ගියා කෙලින්ම යන්න නවලෝකෙට ඇඩ්මිට් වෙන්න රාජකාරිය අපි ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසියට බාර දෙමු කියලා එච්චරයි මොනවද වෙන්න ආන තියෙන්නේ ඈ ඉතින් බුදුහාමේ 12 දෙනෙක් ගාවම තුවාල වෙන්නේ නැතුව අර කතාවල් යන්නේ ඇයි ඈ මොචරි යන්න ඕන කේස් එකක් මේක මේ සාමාන්‍ය තත්ත්වෙන් බේරුණා ඒකනම සන්තෝෂයි වෙන මොකද යන්න තියෙන්නේ අමාරු නම් පුතාට තියෙන්නේ මේ ඇයි මෙහෙම කරේ ඇයි මේක මිනිහෙකුට 12ක් විතර වෙලා වට කරලා ගැව්වේ ඒකයි තියෙන අමාරු මටත් තියෙන අමාරු ඒකයි ඒ පිටුමන පුද්ගලීන් දන්නවනම් මම ඕගොල්ලත් එක්ක මෙච්චර කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ වැඩේට මගේ මල්ලි නංගි මස්සිල තුන් දෙනෙක් මැරුවා ඉස්මාරාමින් දෙද්දි UNP JVP හවුල යන ඉස්මාරාමට මේ මරපු කී දෙනෙක් අද ඉන්නවද කියලා අහන්න ගිලාන ඉස්මාරාම අයි තුවාල ගැන අහනවා ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක් ජනතාවට මොන බම්බුද තුවාල දැනගන්න මාත් තියෙන මොකද තුවාල දැනගන්න මොන සිද්ධිය කිව්වේ නෑ ඉතින් සෞඛ්‍ය තත්ත්වය වලින් කිව්වොත් ඉතාලම හොඳයි ඉතාලම යාප ඈ පුතා පිටක් කළාත් ඉවරයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ පැත්ත ගිහලා අර පැත්ත දොරේ ගියා ඈ ගෙදර ගිහින් වෙන මොකද ගෙදර නෝනාලා තමයි වැඩි වෙන්නේ නැතුවේ නේ නෑ පුතා මේමයි මම මාත්‍යට බොහොම කරු කරනවා එළෙව්වේ නෑ මම ටෙන්ෂන් එකේ යයි මම මට මේක තිබුණේ කවුද කියලා සොයා ගන්න තාමත් ඒ ටෙන්ෂන් එකේ මම ගොල්ලෝ සමාවිල්ලුවේ ඉතින් මගේ ඔය ස්ටයිල් එක තියෙනවා ඒක රුණ එකක් තියෙනවා ඕගොල්ලන්ත් දකුණු බලාතනක තියෙනවා වෙන මොන යන්න තියෙන්නේ ඕන දෙයක් ගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ තේ බොන්න එනවා නම් එන්න මාත් එක්ක යන්න තේ බොන්න හොටෙල් එකට යන්න තේ බොන්න එන්න
Newsfirst reporter Achala Udaraka filed this report today from Ambalanthota.
A
65-year-old person died after falling into a waterway in close proximity to the Ambalanthota town at around 6:30 this morning.
Newsfirst reporter Achala Udaraka Ambalanthota City.
Before moving on to international news, here's a reminder of our top stories tonight. The Tamil National Alliance and the People's Welfare Front, or Janasetta Peramuna, submitted their nominations today for the upcoming provincial council elections. 3 individuals taken into custody by the police in connection with the clash between supporters of former Central Provincial Councillor Pramita Bandara Tendukon and former chairman of the Naula Pradesh Sabha Tilak Bandara released on police bail. Groups of women staged a demonstration in the Karuna area in Nigambo. Starting things off, car bombs exploded in the Samawa and Sadr cities in Baghdad today, part of a wave of blasts across Iraq that killed at least 55 people. Now, police and medical sources said the attacks, which appeared to be coordinated, were concentrated on towns and cities in Iraq's predominantly Shia south and districts of the capital where Shias reside. The car bomb attacks in busy streets and crowded markets underscore deteriorating security in Iraq, where nearly 4,000 people have been killed since the start of the year. The violence has raised fears of a return to full-blown conflict in a country where Kurds, majority Shias and minority Sunni Muslims have yet to find a stable way of sharing power.
At least 38 people died after a coach plunged more than 15 meters or 49 feet off a viaduct in southern Italy yesterday. 11 people were pulled out alive from the stricken coach and taken to hospital, some with serious injuries.
The coach was carrying about 48 people back to Naples after visiting Telly's Terme, the southern region of Campania. A spokesperson for the fire service said that several other vehicles were also involved in the accident. Meanwhile, the driver in the deadly train accident last week in Spain admitted that he was reckless during driving in a court hearing yesterday in Santiago de Compostela in northwest Spain. It was said that during a press conference convened by the court that the 52-year-old Francisco Jose Gazan Amo was temporarily forbidden to leave the country and has to report to the court once a week. The driver was transferred from a local police station where he was kept in custody to the court late yesterday. The accident happened when the high-speed train plying between Madrid and Ferrol derailed on the outskirts of Santiago de Compostela in northwest Spain last Wednesday evening. According to the local hospital, where the injured are continuing to receive treatment, the death toll from the accident had risen to 79 as of yesterday.
The U.S. State Department announced yesterday that peace talks between Israeli and Palestinian negotiators will resume in Washington, D.C. this week. Now, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry will meet with senior aides to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas this evening in the first round of talks in nearly 3 years.
The agreement to return to talks come after Kerry made 6 trips to the region in the past 4 months. Middle East analysts voiced skepticism that the talks might lead to a peace treaty and end more than 6-decade conflict that has defied 2 decades of U.S. efforts to broker a solution. The last piece of the puzzle came together when the Israeli cabinet yesterday approved the release of 104 Palestinian prisoners, with 30 ministers voting for the release, 7 against and 2 abstaining. However, hundreds of Palestinians in the West Bank city of Ramallah and the coastal enclave of Gaza protested yesterday against the expected renewal of the peace talks with Israel. In Ramallah, the de facto capital of the Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas convened a special cabinet meeting attended by Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah and ministers to discuss the expected resumption of negotiations as hundreds of protesters clashed with Palestinian security forces. Some demonstrations were organized by Palestinian Front for the Liberation of Palestine, or PFLP.
Now on sports news, Sri Lanka under-19 team managed 212 runs not out against their Indian counterparts on day 2 of the 4-day match at the Velagadar Stadium in Kurunegala today.
Winning the toss. Malik. A probe ordered by India's cricket chiefs into a betting scandal in the Indian Premier League has found no evidence of wrongdoing, allowing the return of BCCI President N. Srinivasan. N. Srinivasan stepped aside temporarily as the BCCI President on the 2nd of June after his son-in-law Gurunath Meyyappan was arrested and later released on bail over alleged links to illegal bookmakers.
Meyyappan is part owner of the Indian Premier League franchise, the Chennai Super Kings, a team bought by Srinivasan's conglomerate when the league was launched in 2008. The Board of Control for Cricket in India appointed 2 retired High Court judges, Jairam Chowtha and R. Balasubramaniam, to conduct an internal probe into the involvement of its members or IPL owners. The police have also questioned Raj Kundra, husband of Bollywood actress Shilpa Shetty and co-owner of the Rajasthan Royals franchise, whose 3 players were arrested for alleged spot fixing. The probe report, which was submitted to the BCCI's acting chief Jagmohan Dalmia yesterday, cleared Srinivasan's conglomerate, the Rajasthan Royals, Meyyappan and Kundra of spot fixing allegations.
Former sprint cyclist Eric Zabel admitted to years of doping, including EPO, cortisone and blood doping, days after he was named in a French Senate inquiry as a drug offender.
Zabel, who was among the finest sprinters in his sport, had previously admitted to only a brief experimental week with the blood booster EPO in 1996. But in an interview with a newspaper, the German, who topped the points classification of the tour 6 times until his retirement in 2008, said he had used brand drugs and illegal methods from 96 until 2003. Zabel was named in the French report along with several other riders, including the top 2 in the 1998 Tour de France, Italian Marco Pantani, who died of a drug overdose in 2004, and German Jan Ullrich. Ullrich himself ended years of vehement denials in June, admitting he underwent blood doping procedures. Cycling's credibility has been pummeled by high-profile doping confessions, with Lance Armstrong, the popular face of professional cycling, who beat cancer to win the Tour 7 times, having his title stripped after a sophisticated doping program was uncovered in October by the United States Anti-Doping Agency. He later admitted having taken performance-enhancing drugs.
And finally, China continued to dominate in the diving pool on day 9 of the FINA World Championships in Barcelona. At the end of day 8, China had won 9 of the 10 diving events and led the points table.
China's Sung Yang cruised to victory in the men's 400-meter freestyle in a winning time of 3 minutes and 41.59 seconds yesterday. The 16-year-old American Katie Ledecky then put in an equally impressive performance to win gold in the women's 400 meters freestyle event, clocking a time of 3 minutes 59.82 seconds. She set a new record for America. France succeeded once again to obtain a goal in the 4x100 meters freestyle relay, clocking a time of 3 minutes 11.18 seconds. The American team, hoping to gain revenge after losing to France at last year's Olympics, could not achieve the target and fell back to their former silver position. Russia completed the podium by picking up the bronze medal. There were more American success in the women's 4x100 meters freestyle event. The Americans clocked a time of 3 minutes 32.31 seconds to deprive the Australians to settle for silver and the Netherlands for a bronze. China's Q Bo moved into the lead after the third 6 dives in the men's 10-meter platform. Q finished his set of dives with a 91.80 effort for a combined total of 581 points, picking up the gold, gaining revenge over Baudier, who beat him to first place in the event at last year's London Olympics. David Baudier of the USA led in early stages of the competition but had to settle for a silver medal.
And on that note, we wrap up this edition of Newsfirst Primetime News. As always, it was a pleasure having you with us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara.
And I'm Samadhi Gunasekar. Good night.
Hotline 0114 896 896.